Hi, I'm Chelsea and I am the Geeky Ballerina. Let's talk today about port-a-bras. I think there's a misunderstanding, especially with beginning to intermediate students, that port-a-bras is a decoration. And to be fair, I contribute to this a little bit. Like when I teach fifth high, it's a frame around your face. A frame is a decoration, I get it. But more than that, port-a-bras is a tool to help you move. It helps with the whole body coordination. It helps with momentum. It helps balance out different shapes. And I think one of the things that helps people better understand that port-a-bras is a tool is when they understand their body as three-dimensional and the space around them as three-dimensional. Helping kids gain this sense of three-dimensionality is harder than you'd think, because we are three-dimensional, but at the same time, we are three-dimensional, so we don't really notice it. One of the things that I've done that has been really helpful is have kids, once they're aware of their center line and they have a good beginning of an understanding that the shapes we make with our body are all shapes around that pole on the carousel horse. Once they understand that, like academically, I have them lay on the floor. Nobody complains about this. Have them lay on the floor, and then I ask them to imagine where is that center line. And then I have them roll onto their side. Where is that center line and what parts of your body are touching the ground? And then they roll onto their stomach and we repeat, and then we roll onto the other side and we ask the questions again. Just because the tactile feedback of the floor against the body helps kids gain an awareness, helps everybody gain an awareness of their body, of the fact that it takes up space. Because we turn out so much in ballet and everything, second position and show off to the audience, we don't use the back of our body in classical training. I mean, we use it, like, don't get me wrong, the muscles are working, but we don't showcase it. And so it's really easy for kids to get a misunderstanding of their body, that they're kind of flat like a paper doll. And we want to bring back this awareness of their body in all three dimensions. Once students are aware of their body in three dimensions, anyway, once they're aware of it, then you can expand that into there is air all around you. We're not dancing in a vacuum, we're dancing in space and we are surrounded by space. In fact, Andrea Olson has a great quote in her book, I think it's Earth and Body. She has a great quote about we are dancing in the sky. When little kids draw pictures, they've got the green on the bottom and then their stick figures and then the blue at the top. And in reality, the sky comes all the way down to the earth. And so we're not dancing in an empty space. We're dancing in the sky. Hang on, let me see if I can find that book. I was right. Body and Earth by Andrea Olson. It's like my mind was blown when I heard that quote. So here we are dancing in the sky. There is sky behind us, it's all around us, and it can be a little bit off-putting for students the first time they start to think about it, especially your more literal students. We'll get to some of those approaches in a minute, but for everyone, it's a little bit weird to suddenly be thinking of something behind you that you can't see. We're used to seeing things. But once we have this recognition of the space behind us, we can start to use it to enhance our movement. The space behind you is going to push you forward in a grand jeté. The space behind you is going to support your leg in that attitude derriere. And I didn't forget that we're talking about port-a-bras. When we do our port-a-bras movement, we are pushing air away from us, but we are also creating a space for air to come into. Like, it's a constant interplay. It's like when you're mixing oil and water and they never like really emulsify. They never become one thing. They're always a little separate. But when you change where one is, the other one moves around as well. That adds a really lovely, graceful, and purposeful quality to the port-a-bras and can really help dancers understand that this is not a shape. I mean, there's a shape involved, but it's not a shape. It's not a decoration. It's not a little ornament that I'm hanging on my Christmas tree. This is part of my movement. So how do we help the more literal kids in our class? And you'll know who they are. You probably already know who they are. But if you spend a lot of time talking about how your arm comes from your back and kids are just like, what are you talking about? And you're like, it's like a wing. Don't you feel it as a wing? They are thinking more literally, and no, they don't feel it that way because they are feeling like their arm muscles getting tired. They're not feeling it in their back because honestly, this muscle right here is very self-contained. And so when this fatigues, it doesn't automatically trigger fatigue in the back, right? They're thinking literally, they're thinking experientially. One of the things that I have tried, I had kids wear capes to class, and we had it, around the shoulder, and then we held it, and we held the cape tightly enough so that there was near constant tactile feedback across the entire back, across the arms, and around the wrists into the hands. No, we were not working on hand shapes that day because we were holding onto a cape. But having that tactile feedback of how the shape continued through the back, how a first position is a circle that goes around your center line, can be really helpful to a lot of kids. If their students are thinking literally, your job is to think literally as well. I hope that helps you rethink your port-de-bras. It's not an arm shape, it's part of your whole body. And you're not a little paper doll with a front and a back. You are a round human being because we are all round. And when we can bring those two ideas, I take up space, I move through space, and it is one body that moves. I'm not moving my arm and my leg, I'm moving my body. I think I said two, but that's really three things. So when we bring those three things into class, I move my whole body, I take up space, I move through space. When we can bring those ideas into the classroom, port-de-bras gets so much more graceful. And you didn't have to do 1,000 arm strengthening drills to get there. If you're interested in other teaching resources, I have those on my website. I also have a blog, and I have a monthly newsletter where I talk about a technique tip and an element of artistry. You can sign up for that. It's all on my website, geekyballerina.com. I hope you have a really great class.